Miraculous morning prayer, divine guidance revealed to manifest your heavenly purpose today. In the quaint English village of St. Jude's Hollow, a benevolent spirit stirred each morning with the rising sun. Mary Thompson, a devoted mother and passionate schoolteacher, knelt by her family altar, eyes closed, heart open. St. Jude, patron of hopeless causes, she whispered, "Light our path today." As her words hung in the air, an inexplicable warmth enveloped her, filling the corners of her soul where doubt and dreams wrestled fiercely. She felt even the very walls of her home lean in listening. But the winds of change had begun to blow, sweeping through the village and swirling around the local church. Attendance dwindled like leaves in autumn, echoing a somber note in the heart of St. Jude's Hollow, leaving its fellow believers searching for hope. Each prayer whispered in that sacred space seemed to reach a faded sky. Then came the morning that would change everything. Mary brewed her tea, the smell wafting through the air like a gentle reminder of the life still thriving around her. The television buzzed in the background, and suddenly, a chilling news report ripped through her peaceful routine. "Father Thomas is gravely ill," the anchor announced, voice heavy with concern. Panic rippled through the village like the crack of thunder. A beloved priest known for his gentle smiles and wise words now hung between life and death. "What will become of our church?" whispered Mrs. Jenkins, her voice thick with fear. It echoed around Mary's kitchen, stirring the deepening uncertainty within her. Mary felt an urgency well up inside her chest, an awakening call from beyond. "We need to pray," she proclaimed, her voice steady, almost electric. "Let us hold a vigil at my home. We will seek divine intervention together." Candles were lit as neighbors gathered, flickering flames illuminating the faces of the faithful, their eyes shimmering with hope amid desperation. "St. Jude, hear our prayers," they chanted softly, the air thick with emotion. Mary held her heart up to the heavens, pouring her soul into each word. And in that swirling tempest of prayer, something shifted. A sudden hush fell over the room, as if the world held its breath. Just then, a vision enveloped her, a gentle whisper, clear and profound, revealed not dazzling miracles, but a hidden talent nestled in her very community. The answer lay within them, a forgotten, cherished tradition longing to be reborn. Inspiration washed over her like fresh rain on parched soil. She glimpsed a mirage of their potential, a gallery of gifts waiting to bloom, the artists, musicians, and storytellers, all cloistered, waiting for the right moment. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As Mary shared her vision, excitement flickered in the air, mingling with hope. An unexpected figure, a quiet shopkeeper with an unassuming presence, stepped forward. "Let me lead the way," Simon offered, his voice steady and earnest. His talent spilled forth, drawing others in, igniting a spark that had long been dormant. With renewed spirit, they rallied, weaving their gifts into a tapestry of revival, a music night, an art exhibition, stories whispered and sung by flickering candlelight. It was as if old roots were finding their way to the light again. Yet, amidst their growing faith, a nagging question rested heavy in Mary's heart. Would this unity last? The church prepared for its first gathering under the weight of their collective hope. They held their breath together, teetering on the edge of something miraculous, awaiting the divine manifestation they all sought. Would their prayers truly part the clouds above St. Jude's Hollow, or would they face trials deeper than they ever imagined? As the sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky with hues of gold and rose, St. Jude's Hollow was buzzing with anticipation. Mary stood at the door of her home, flanked by flickering candlelight that cast warm shadows on the walls. Her heart raced, each beat echoing the faith that had woven itself through the fabric of their community. Neighbors filtered in, faces illuminated by hope and a shared purpose. Laughter mingled with the luminous glow of candles, and the scent of freshly baked bread filled the air, bridging gaps where worry once loomed. Mary welcomed each familiar face, feeling their collective energy envelop her like a warm embrace. "Has anyone seen Father Thomas?" A voice whispered from the crowd, tinged with concern. The question hung in the air, a gentle reminder of the gravity that had brought them together. Yet in that moment, they were united by more than just the shadows of illness. They had gathered to spark life anew, to breathe hope into what felt stagnant. Simon, with a charisma that caught them off guard, stepped forward from the gathering. "Tonight, we create together," he announced, and his voice held a clarity that cut through the lingering sadness. "Each of you carries within you talents meant to be shared. Music, stories, art, these are our prayers too. As we gather tonight, let us bring forth our gifts. In doing so, we honor our beloved Father Thomas and each other." A murmur of agreement rippled through the room. Mary's heart swelled. She could feel the enthusiasm surge like a rising tide, washing over fears that had threatened to choke their unity. She and Simon planned small acts of sharing, a small concert in the village hall, art exhibited in the community center, and a storytelling night for families. The energy grew electric. Creativity flowed freely, and Mary caught herself laughing alongside neighbors she had never really known. They spoke of dreams and aspirations, of creating beauty amid hardship. Hope built a bridge between their hearts, reaching toward the heavens. As the hours slipped by, the air thickened with life. Art was born from their hands, songs rose like warm breezes, and stories intertwined in a tender thread of shared experience. One little girl, her voice like a chime, sang a sweet tune that hushed the room. As the last note faded, a serene silence enveloped them. Mary noticed tears glistening in Simon's eyes, and a wave of profound gratitude washed over her soul. "May your talents light the path for Father Thomas," Mary whispered inwardly, guiding her thoughts skyward. In this sacred gathering, they had not only ignited hope for their church, but had fortified faith within themselves as well. Yet beneath the surface, shadows still lurked. Mary felt an unease tugging at her mind. Would their newfound spirit hold under the weight of reality when Father Thomas's condition became known? Would they falter when the world turned dark outside their illuminated gathering? The night drew to a close, candles flickering low, each flame a testament to their devotion and courage. As people gradually left, gratitude mingled with uncertainty. Mary lingered, her heart full yet troubled. In the quiet, she knelt before her altar once more, eyes closed. "Saint Jude, guide our unity through whatever storms may come. Give us the strength to hold on to these gifts and share them widely." Just then, she felt a whisper in her spirit, a promise of balance, a glimmer of hope even amidst future challenges. What did this mean? What awaited them next on their journey of faith and resilience? Little did they know, a miracle was about to unfurl, a revelation that would not only test their unity, but transform them completely. With anticipation in her heart, Mary opened her eyes to the lingering warmth of the candles. What challenges awaited them would soon be revealed. The dawn broke gently over St. Jude's Hollow, its soft light seeping through the curtains and into Mary's room. As she blinked away the remnants of sleep, a sense of calm washed over her. The night had held magic in its embrace, yet the uncertainty lingered in her heart. What would this new day bring? Rising from her bed, she felt the warmth of hope envelop her, buoyed by the joy of their gathering. Last night, as sharing had kindled a fire in her spirit, yet a tremor of worry twined around her thoughts, much like a creeping vine threatening to snuff out a budding flower. Father Thomas remained in the shadows of her mind, his absence casting a long shadow over the community. Stepping outside, Mary breathed in the crisp morning air. It was serene, and she could hear birds singing, a chorus of life greeting the new day. She closed her eyes and listened, letting the gentle melodies coax her into prayer. "O Saint Jude, Guide us through this uncertainty. May your wisdom be our light as we walk these paths together. In that pause of silence, something stirred within her. It felt like a nudge, a gentle reminder that their bond had the strength to weather any storm. As she opened her eyes, the sun's rays cut through the morning mist, illuminating her path ahead with golden light. It felt as if the heavens were smiling upon them, urging her forward. With renewed determination, Mary set out towards the village square. Word had spread of the plans to gather again, and a collective energy surged in the air. Families began to trickle in, each eager to contribute their talents. The laughter bubbled, much like the brook that wound through the outskirts of town, and as people came together, Mary felt a sense of unity growing stronger than ever before.
Look!
A little boy shouted, pointing to a beautiful banner from the nearby community center. It bore the words "Together We Rise," crafted with bold strokes and vibrant colors that captured the very essence of their mission. Mary felt her heart swell as she turned to share a knowing glance with Simon, who had rolled up his sleeves, ready to get involved. As they worked side by side, Mary marveled at the beauty of this shared purpose. Simon shared stories of his childhood, how the community had rallied to help each other through difficult times. Each tale became a thread, weaving a tapestry of resilience and faith that enveloped them all. But even amidst this joyful labor, doubts continued to whisper. What if they failed to bring the healing their beloved Father Thomas needed? Would their efforts be enough? Mary pushed those thoughts aside. They were on this journey together, advancing through faith, and she felt a warmth surging through her every time she let hope take the lead. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting light over St. Jude's Hollow, a gentle hush fell upon the crowd. A figure appeared at the edge of the square. Mary squinted against the light, her heart quickening.
Was it?
Father Thomas. The joyful cry erupted from the heart of the crowd, and gasps of disbelief intermingled with shouts of happiness. Tears filled Mary's eyes as she rushed forward. The sight of him, frail yet radiant, was enough to ignite hope anew. "Dear friends," Father Thomas began, his voice unsteady but filled with warmth, "I have felt your prayers around me. The love you've shared has brought me back to you." As he continued to speak, Mary could sense the collective heartbeat of the community aligning once more. They had come together not just to create beauty, but to support each other in faith. She realized the miracle they had all unwittingly woven through their unity. And as they gathered around him, joy blooming like flowers after rain, she whispered to herself, what more could be revealed? What awaited St. Jude's Hollow now, as new miracles began to unfurl, would change everything they thought they understood about faith and the power of love. A wave of emotion passed through the crowd as Father Thomas spoke. His presence, though delicate, radiated a strength that filled the hearts of those gathered. Mary found herself captivated by the wisdom in his words, each syllable a balm to old wounds. She could feel the tears of joy on her cheeks, streaking the dirt of the village square like rivers of gratitude. "Your love has brought me back," he continued, "but it has also shown me the deeper purpose we share in this life. We must not just rely on faith in darkness, but become vessels of his light in all seasons." Mary took a deep breath. His message resonated deeply within her, stirring the echoes of her own fears. What did it mean to be a vessel? Did she truly have the strength to guide others, to lead them with love and compassion? A flicker of doubt threatened, but she silenced it with a prayerful thought. As Father Thomas's voice soared above the village, speaking of renewed hope and unity, Mary's heart leaped within her. It was more than a return. It was a call to action. "Together, we rise," she whispered to Simon, feeling their shared energy. They needed to be doing, not merely watching. "Let us gather our strengths," Father Thomas urged. "Let us weave a tapestry of love and light that no darkness can penetrate." The crowd roared in agreement, a wave of sound that washed over them like a fresh tide. Mary admired the light in their eyes, the determination etched on their faces. With plans set into motion, the villagers embraced tasks that revealed their individual gifts. Musicians began to strum sweet melodies while others painted vibrant murals that echoed their hopes onto the weathered walls of the community center. Laughter intertwined with earnest interactions, creating a harmony that elevated every spirit present. Mary felt her purpose unfolding right alongside the work. She joined the children who were busy planting seeds in the town's shared garden, their small hands diving into the earth to nurture life. As she dug into the rich soil, she felt closer to the divine. "May these flowers grow strong," she murmured, "to remind us of the beauty we can cultivate together." But amidst the whirlwind of creativity and joy, a shadow flickered at the corners of her heart. Where did they go from here? With Father Thomas returned, would peace reign once more? Or were they merely at the beginning of a journey filled with trials that would test their resolve? That evening, as golden hues embraced the sky, the community gathered in the square once more. Father Thomas led them in a prayer, calling upon the heavens for guidance. The air grew thick with anticipation, a tangible connection binding their hearts to something greater than themselves. Mary closed her eyes, feeling a warmth spill over her spirit. "Lord, reveal your path to us," she prayed silently. "Guide us into the unknown." As she opened her eyes, she caught Simon's gaze. He raised his brow, a knowing smile creeping across his face. "What do you think comes next?" he asked, echoing the question in every heart. The answer hung tantalizingly in the air, like a promise waiting to be fulfilled. What mysteries awaited them just beyond the horizon? Mary felt her pulse quicken with each flicker of the uncharted, propelling them forward into faith. The moment of divine intervention awaits, Mary thought, as the sun dipped below the horizon, leaving trails of starlight behind. What awaited was more than an ending, it was a new beginning ready to unfold. The next morning dawned with a freshness that seemed to linger in the air, a gentle mist kissing the village. Mary stepped outside her small home, her heart still echoing the fervor of the night before. The sun was peaking just above the horizon, bathing everything in a golden glow. Each blade of grass sparkled as if touched by angels, inviting her to embrace the day. A sense of expectancy washed over her. She believed a divine revelation was upon them. Gathering her thoughts, Mary chose to head to the village square, where she sensed the community would still be buzzing with projects birthed from the previous day's energy. As she walked, she repeated her silent prayer for guidance, hoping to become more than just a vessel, but a beacon of hope for those around her. Upon arrival, she found groups clustered together, each engrossed in their chosen pursuits. But amid the clanging of hammers and the cheerful laughter of children, an unusual stillness settled over them as they noticed Father Thomas ascending a low wooden platform, his silhouette framed by the awakening glow. "Good morning, beloved community," he called out, his voice soothing yet commanding. "As we embrace this new day, let us seek clarity from above." Mary's heart fluttered. The air grew dense with emotion, a collective yearning for direction. She grasped Simon's hand, squeezing it in encouragement. Father Thomas began to speak of prayer, not merely as a ritual, but as communion with the divine. Each moment we spend in stillness, we are opening ourselves to the vastness of His love. We are preparing our hearts for not just understanding, but for implementation of His divine will. Mary could feel the weight of the moment. What was it that God had in store for them? Did they have the courage to act? The others seemed to share her intensity, their gazes intense with belief. "Let us take a moment to find stillness," Father Thomas instructed. In the quiet, we can hear his whispers, guiding us toward the tasks meant for each of us. Tension filled the air as they closed their eyes, souls reaching out, hearts wide open. Mary breathed deeply, inhaling the sweet scent of earth and blooming flowers. The world around her fell away. She slipped into a sacred space, a realm where her worries faded. Suddenly, a vision began to unfold. She saw the garden they had started, but now it was vast, an open sanctuary alive with colors and a mosaic of sounds. It transformed into a place where people gathered, where love radiated, and where healing blossomed in the most surprising ways. A prophecy stirred within her, a deep knowing that this garden would unite the village and beyond. "It's what He wants. It's a conduit of His glory," she whispered, opening her eyes wide. Just as Father Thomas invited everyone to share their thoughts, the village erupted in discussion. Some felt a call to help the youth, while others sensed a need to bring the elderly together. Mary shared her vision of the garden as a central gathering place where joy and healing could flourish side by side. Excitement rippled through the crowd. Voices joined together in a sacred chorus, each person carving their part in the tapestry of purpose. As they spoke, she realized the beauty of their unity and diversity, forming a plan to open their hearts to receive the unknown. Father Thomas smiled knowingly. This is the beginning of something magnificent. Remember, the path may be fraught with challenges, but his light will never leave you. Just then, a commotion broke out at the edge of the gathering. A figure approached, cloaked in shadows. The villagers turned, curiosity igniting in their eyes. Who came before them now with an urgent need? The atmosphere thickened, holding its breath. What message did this stranger bring, and how might it alter their unfolding journey? Mary could feel the pulse of shared anticipation. What unexpected chapter awaited them now? As the stranger drew closer, the sunlight caught the edges of their cloak, illuminating flecks of dust swirling in the golden beams. The villagers exchanged anxious glances, eyes wide with intrigue and concern. Mary could feel the weight of the moment, every fiber of her being drawn toward this unknown visitor. Who were they, and what burden did they carry? The figure halted just shy of the gathered crowd, lifting their hood to reveal a weathered face marked by lines of both sorrow and wisdom. An air of quiet authority enveloped them. Peace, friends, their voice resonated, calming the murmurs that rippled through the villagers. I come not to disrupt your joy, but to share a message of urgency. Mary's heart raced. The tension brought forth a whisper of desperation. Father Thomas stepped forward, a glimmer of instinct guiding his actions. What is it that you bring us? He asked gently. The Lord speaks through the storms of our lives, and I have witnessed a storm nearing your village, the stranger began, eyes scanning the faces turned toward them. A storm that threatens to wither the roots of the connections you are planting. But remember, storms can also cleanse and nourish if you allow them. The crowd was silent, every person hanging onto each word as if they were delicate threads weaving together a tapestry of truth. Prepare your garden, strengthen your bonds, for the challenges will test your unity. The divine knows your hearts. Trust in his magnificent love. Mary felt those words seep into her spirit, stirring the embers of her vision. A gentle breeze swept through the crowd, carrying the scent of earth and promise. Could this be a sign? A summons to embrace the very trials that would strengthen their fellowship? What must we do? Someone called out from behind her, the innocence of a child's voice slicing through the tension. Gather together, replied the stranger, a spark of hope igniting in their eyes. Pray collectively and seek guidance. Each of you holds a thread of purpose. Together, you will create a fabric that shields against the inevitable storm, one that weaves love and resilience. Excitement mingled with uncertainty. Mary felt the weight of expectation. Had they not just begun to uncover the threads of a divine purpose? Did it already hang in balance? Father Thomas nodded solemnly. Let us heed this urgent call and be unyielding in prayer. We are a community, and when we lift our hearts together, his strength will enfold us. As the crowd began to form a circle, Mary felt the energy shift. No longer were they merely observers. Now they were active participants in the unfolding story. Hands clasped, hearts opened, they began to pray. Lord, guide us now with your light. Help us stand firm against the storm and fortify our hearts with hope. Father Thomas led, his voice rising with conviction. Tears glimmered in Mary's eyes as the spirit of unity washed over them. She envisioned the garden once more, not just as a physical space, but a sanctuary of healing, community, and divine connection. One by one, the villagers began to share their hopes and fears, entrusting their intentions to God. Mary realized that each voice was a thread weaving through her spirit, creating a tapestry far richer than she had ever imagined. Just then, The stranger stepped back, a faint smile crossing their lips. Your prayers rise like incense, beautiful and fragrant. But remember, the path to his promise is often riddled with uncertainty. An overwhelming sense of anticipation hung thick in the air. The prayer circle grew stronger, the words drawing a shield around them. But what obstacles awaited them? As they closed their eyes, the warmth of the sun on their faces, Mary sensed that this was only the beginning. What truths would emerge from the storm? What strength could they summon together? The faint sound of thunder rumbled in the distance, reminding them that their journey was just unfolding. The distant rumble of thunder rolled closer, a reminder of the urgency in the air. The villagers held their breaths, their hearts beating together, a rhythm of hope and faith resonating within the circle. As they prayed, the clouds above darkened, veiling the sun, yet an unexpected warmth enveloped them. It felt as if the divine presence had drawn near, wrapping them in a veil of comfort amidst the brewing storm. Mary's heart swelled with a mixture of fear and courage. Each whispered prayer echoed through the stillness, merging into a symphony of devotion. She could feel the power in their unity, each voice adding strength as they sowed seeds of hope in the garden of their hearts. Suddenly, the stranger, who had silently observed the gathering, raised their hands. "Be still, for the divine speaks," they proclaimed. The crowd fell silent, instinctively knowing a profound message was about to unfold. "Listen with your hearts," the stranger continued, "for a vision is upon us, a revelation to guide the coming days." Their voice was steady like a river flowing through rough terrain. "In this moment, the Lord asks you to trust fully, to embrace the unknown with faith. What you find in the storm shall lead you closer to each other and to Him." A light flickered within Mary, illuminating fears she hadn't realized she held. The promise of deeper connections tugged at her soul. But would they weather the storm? As she cast her gaze upon the faces around her, she found familiar warmth in the eyes of her neighbors. They were looking to one another, forming a community fortified by shared dreams and collective prayers. "This storm," the stranger continued, "will reveal your true selves. It shall uproot what is weak and nurture the seeds you have sown in love. Risk demands courage, but courage nurtures growth." Their voice was a balm, soothing nerves and igniting courage, transforming anxious hearts into vessels of strength. "I urge you," the stranger said, looking deep into the eyes of each villager, "to anchor yourselves in the assurance of His love. When storms arrive, do not shy away from the challenges they bring. For within each trial lies a divine purpose and opportunity to bear witness to His grace." With each word, the air seemed to shimmer with divine potential. Mary felt an electrifying surge course through her, igniting an urgent need to respond. What if we fail? She wanted to cry out, but the stranger's gaze held her fast and found her uncertainty. In that silent exchange, she understood that the risk of vulnerability was the missing thread in her tapestry. The crowd murmured, a collective search for reassurance. "How do we navigate such trials?" Someone ventured, vulnerability etched into their voice like wind-whipped leaves. "Courage to face the storm is born in the soil of community," the stranger replied. "Root yourselves deeply in love. Know that in unity, you shall find strength more than you can conceive." Mary watched as hands tightened around one another, a palpable energy forming in their grip, their faith igniting a collective resilience. Here was a refuge, a purpose spiraling into the unknown, yet illuminated by the Spirit. Just when hope began to rise, a flash of lightning illuminated the sky, and the first drops of rain began to fall. An electric pulse ran through the group. Would they shatter or hold firm? As the rain fell against the earth, Mary closed her eyes, envisioning the garden flourishing, nourished by adversity. Her heart raced in sync with the storm. With each heartbeat, a deeper resolve took form. Together, she murmured, the words a soft invocation, "We will stand." But would their unity be strong enough to withstand the impending deluge? What truths would they uncover in the heart of the storm? The wind began to howl, swirling around them like divine whispers. The villagers braced themselves, ready to meet the tempest together. The wind roared like a wild beast, echoing the cry of the heavens. Rain fell in sheets, each drop a reminder of the cleansing that could happen in the hearts of the villagers. Mary opened her eyes, focusing on the strangers standing before them, their presence unwavering amidst the chaos. They were a beacon in a storm, embodying a peace that felt contagious. "Let the rain wash away your fears," the stranger declared. "This downpour is not just a trial. It is a gift. Embrace it. Let it bathe your spirit." With that, a sound surged from the crowd, a spontaneous cheer, rising like a wave against the storm. Laughter erupted amidst the rain, breaking through the tension that had gripped them. Mary's heart soared as she felt that cheerful spirit wrap around her like a warm embrace. "Can you hear it?" a neighbor called out over the rattle of the storm. "It sings of freedom. It sings of hope." The villagers began to dance, clapping their hands against the rhythm of the droplets, finding joy even as the storm raged. Mary joined them, her feet moving of their own accord, like branches swaying to a joyous melody. It was a beautiful confusion, a celebration of their faith in the face of nature's fury. "Keep your eyes on the light," shouted the stranger, pointing toward the darkened sky. "For every storm has an end, and when it passes, the sun will shine brighter than you can imagine." They reminded each person of the promise of renewal. Each raindrop was a blessing, each gust of wind a call to resilience. In the midst of uncertainty, they found assurance in community, a sacred bond woven stronger by shared adversity. As Mary danced and laughed, tears mingled with the rain, the mix of joy and relief cleansing her soul. Together, she thought, we can encounter anything. But suddenly, a distant flash of lightning brightened the sky, illuminating a massive figure at the heart of the village, the old oak tree, resilient against the storm but starting to crack under the pressure. Gasps swept through the gathering. It was a symbol of their strength, yet it also signaled an emerging danger.
"Hold on,"
the stranger instructed, raising their voice over the howling wind. "We must unite our faith." Immediately, the villagers linked arms again, forming a protective circle around the oak. Hearts thumping in unison, they closed their eyes, focusing their spirits together. They began to pray fervently, pouring out their fears and hopes into the infinite embrace of the divine. Together, Mary urged, "We can be the roots that hold this tree firm." The stranger nodded, standing at the center of their circle. "Yes, speak words of life. For what you declare in faith becomes your reality." As the villagers voiced their prayers, the storm seemed to swell around them, lightning flashing, thunder rumbling, and pouring rain drenching their spirits. But they pressed on, believing in divine intervention, the strength of their unity carving a path through the chaos. "Let the winds of doubt be cast away." Their voices rose, trembling yet strong. "We trust in His love." But the ground trembled beneath them, and Mary felt a shift, as if the storm were testing their resolve. Would the old tree withstand the fury? Would they? Each rattling branch above echoed like a question, a challenge to their faith. A whisper brushed against Mary's ear, almost drowned by the storm's roar, a promise of great revelations yet to come. In the eye of the storm, the divine mystery beckoned her, unfurling like the petals of a blossom just ready to greet the sun. What would be revealed at the heart of this tempest? Would they unlock the secrets of strength hidden in their vulnerability? The storm continued to rage, but within, a flame of hope flickered brightly, urging them forward into the unknown. As the tempest clawed at the village, fervent prayers formed a shield around the ancient oak. Mary felt the energy shift, a collective heartbeat pulsing through their grasp. With each wave of shout and whisper, the storm grew more furious, but the people stood firm, their spirits unyielding. "Let us not shrink before trials," the stranger declared. "God has gathered us here, not to buckle, but to bloom." Their voice rang clear, full of conviction. It ignited something deep inside Mary, a resolve she didn't fully understand yet. Lightning streaked across the sky again, casting a fleeting glow upon the villagers' faces, shining with determination. Each flash seemed to carry a message, as if heaven itself was affirming their stand. Mary could see the confidence in her neighbors' eyes. They were shepherds of one another's hopes. And then, a sweet scent wafted through the heavy air, unlike anything Mary had ever experienced before. It spread warmth across her heart, lifting her spirit higher. A fragrant reminder of life amidst chaos and despair. Could it be that the storm was preparing them for something greater beyond what could be seen? Pray with intent. The stranger called. Ask for clarity. Seek the guidance that God is pouring out upon you. With those words, Mary's heart began to soar. She felt the weight of every fear fall away. She closed her eyes and breathed deeply, letting the rain wash over her like a balm. Unable to contain herself, she began to speak her prayers aloud, each word crisp against the deafening sounds of nature. Lord, grant us strength. Fill us with your light. Show us the path we are to walk. Her voice mingled with others, each petition rising like smoke toward the heavens. Around the circle, whispers surged into beautiful harmonies, united in purpose. Tears streamed down Mary's face, mingling with the rain, transforming into symbols of a deeper cleansing. She glimpsed the old oak, majestic and noble, seeming to bend yet not break, every branch quaking fiercely, yet still standing. And in that moment, the storm hit its peak. Mary felt something shift inside her, an assurance that they were not just weathering the storm, they were being transformed through it. A crescendo of prayer enveloped them, and suddenly, where the storm felt like a force tearing them apart, it now seemed a symphony, each noise and vibration working together, calling forth divine attention. Hold firm, the stranger shouted again, raising a hand toward the heavens. For soon, the clouds will part to reveal his glory among us. The winds seemed to shift, almost answering their calling. It was as if the storm was anointing them, preparing them for what lay ahead. It was a test of faith, yes, but also a lesson in unity, and Mary felt the weight of it all. Just then, the ground beneath them shuddered again. The oak groaned, and a great crack echoed through the air. Mary gasped, her grip tightening around her neighbor's hand. Would the tree endure? Would their prayers be enough? In that swirl of uncertainty, Mary felt a presence rich, warm, and undeniably powerful. It was as if the very essence of their prayers had taken form, and with it, a flicker of understanding ignited within her. Perhaps this storm was not their ending, but the beginning of something magnificent. Stay strong, friends, she urged, her voice filled with new fervor. We are the roots. We will not waver. But just as hope surged, a blinding flash erupted overhead, brightening the stormy sky. It eclipsed their resolve for a heartbeat, and then silence. The storm stilled for a moment, as if holding its breath. What awaited them in that sacred pause? Mary's heart raced with anticipation. At the end of this trial, what divine plans were waiting to be unveiled? What truths would this storm carry forth? The world held its breath, and Mary felt the divine presence drawing near, promising revelations that would change everything. As the tempest held its breath, stillness enveloped St. Jude's hollow. It was an awe-inspiring moment, charged with divine potential. The wind ceased its howling, and even the rain softened, like a gentle embrace from above. Everyone felt it, an unspoken promise glimmering in the air. Father Thomas stood before them, voice steady and warm despite the chaos that had just swirled around them. This is the moment of reckoning, he said, eyes shining with an intensity that captivated all attention. Heaven is whispering, love, unity, and purpose intertwining in this very instance. Mary felt a rush of warmth coursing through her. This stillness was not an end but a doorway to new beginnings. What do we need to do now? She pondered as she looked around. Hearts were linked, each person threading their unique strife and joy into the fabric of that sacred space. The crack in the sky shimmered as the sun broke free, the rays spilling gold over the sodden soil. It was as if God had decided that moment was ripe for revelation. Lift your eyes, the stranger called out, the light catching their features, illuminating faces filled with awe and devotion. At that skeptical moment, a thunderous snap echoed, shaking the ground beneath them, as if nature itself was echoing Father Thomas's words. The villagers flinched, seconds feeling like hours as they realized the ancient oak had finally succumbed to the tempest. It crashed down, but the sound brought not despair, but a wave of awakening, like the world clearing out chaos to unveil greater glory. "Together, we must gather," Simon shouted, his voice breaking through the stunned silence. "All this has meaning, I can feel it." The stranger nodded solemnly, eyes glistening with understanding. "This tree's fall is not a failure. It is a space for new life to emerge, fresh growth to flourish. Everyone, help us clear the remnants." Father Thomas guided, feeling the urgency drumming. "For we will reclaim this ground not just as a space, but as our sacred garden of healing and community." With newfound energy, the villagers rushed forward. They pulled together, hands grasping branches and roots, working side by side to transform the wreckage into rich earth, as if sowing seeds of hope in the heart of the village. Mary moved alongside Simon, every moment weaving strands of faith into a shared tapestry. "Look, the earth is soft," she exclaimed breathlessly. "This can be cultivated. We can birth something beautiful from this destruction." Others joined them, laughter bursting forth through the collective effort. "Watch the roots," someone called out. "We can plant new saplings. This is our chance." They began to find a rhythm, clearing away debris while sharing ideas, visions dancing among them like fireflies in the night. Prayers now flowed freely, a sweet murmur echoing among their labors. "May what is lost reveal an even greater purpose. Let every seed entrusted to this soil bring forth life and strength." As they toiled, Mary felt an inexplicable surge of joy. The energy built as they collectively envisioned the garden flourishing, a vibrant sanctuary, drawing people in from far and wide, a cradle of unity under the watchful eye of St. Jude. The old oak's fall was already transforming into a phoenix rising anew. Father Thomas, supervising their work, shared, "This is an embodiment of faith in action. Remember, just as storms shape our lives, so do we create nourishment from challenges." They all paused for a moment, the brilliance of sunbeams cascading down, illuminating sweat-drenched faces turned bright with purpose. As they finished removing the last remnants of the oak, the stranger stood before them once more, radiating an ethereal glow. "You have embraced the storm and emerged stronger. Know this. You are being prepared for a destiny more profound than you may comprehend." Mary's heart raced. What does that mean? She thought. Will this moment evolve beyond what they could see? You are to become a beacon for others. Your journey is not merely about the physical garden, but an awakening of souls toward love, compassion, and resilience. The stranger finished, their voice like a hymn weaving through the crowd. Amidst the echoes of encouragement, Father Thomas spoke up once more. "Each of you holds a role in this journey. We will not hold back. United, we shall rise." As if in response, a soft breeze swept through the gathering, lifting their spirits higher with each breath. Mary took in the scene the pilgrims of hope, their hearts now woven together, like vines intertwined. They stood strong and ready. The spirit of unity fortified them, turning fears into possibilities. That evening, the earth was transformed, fresh soil awaited seeds of creativity and connection. Mary caught sight of the sky turning shades of crimson and violet as the village gathered for the first evening of their candlelit celebration around their newly tended garden. Each neighbor shared songs and stories, laughter woven around flickering flames, a chorus echoing through the night as they ignited the essence of what had been lost and found. The weight of worry lifted like clouds clearing, and the joyous cries resounded in that sacred place. In that moment, Mary felt enveloped in divine purpose, deep gratitude for every tear, every uprooted fear. They had built their foundation amidst the storm's fury, forged new traditions, and most importantly rekindled their faith. Together, We can do anything, she thought, as light shimmered in Simon's eyes, affirming her belief. And truly, they had already begun to manifest heaven in their village. Would it ever be the same again? In the quiet close of that beautiful day, as they embraced the firelight, Mary made a vow not only to the garden but to the heart of St. Jude's Hollow, that their story, born from unity and resilience, would continue to ignite faith beyond the horizon. So it was that through prayer and unwavering belief, they became instruments of divine purpose, embracing every storm and blooming amidst the sacred space of community, cultivating a garden for countless souls yet to gather. And thus arose St. Jude's Hollow, woven together under one sky, illuminated by hope, love, and the whispers of faith. Now hear me. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait even one more second to share this story with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of faith. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. And leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your reaction matters, so comment below with your heartfelt testimonies about the ending. Together, we can spread the light, emphasizing that only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting this mission.